Good morning, Vaqueros. Today is Monday, February 24th, and it is currently 78 degrees. We're coming to you from our Edinburgh studio. I'm Joseph Zambrano.
And I'm Jan Trejo.
And this is
Vaquero News.
Campus news,
events, games,
and activities
all in one place.
This is Vaquero Radio,
the Val's student station.
Monday and Wednesday at 11 a.m.
Vaquero Radio,
where
your story begins.
Pre-Vet Society prepares and educates members about the experience of being a veterinarian. Here's Celeste Cruz with the story.
Just not giving up, because veterinarian is a very tough, critically thinking major to especially go into.
The UTRGV Pre-Vet Society, founded in 2019, now has 61 members and provides guidance to students pursuing a career in veterinary medicine. President of the Pre-Vet Society, Bethany Garza, said being part of the club gives students experience and knowledge in the field.
Because I've met a lot of people that, I want to become a vet, but, I saw the workload or the prerequisites required to apply to vet school, and they're like, no, they immediately felt discouraged. And I was like, no, don't, we can work on it together, and we can help guide you.
Member of the Pre-Vet Society, Crosselina, said the organization provides informational sessions to prepare members for veterinary school.
All of our members to really get informed, everyone just to be prepared once the application process is approaching. Because I know with our information sessions, it's going to really help a lot, just helping them getting ready.
Members may also work on their volunteer hours and vet clinics, such as the Palm Valley Animal Society. Garza said there will be many volunteer opportunities throughout the semester.
There will be a lot of different opportunities that will be sent in the group chat, hey, Palm Valley Animal Society, they're having this event, they need this many volunteers, go ahead and sign yourself up if you want to do it.
Member of the Pre-Vet Society, Alyssa Flores, shared what inspired her to join the group.
Because I want to be the voice for animals. I think we all should find them a home, and they all deserve care and love.
The Pre-Vet Society is hosting fundraisers to raise money for its summer trip to Texas A&M or Texas Tech for veterinary medicine. Students who are interested may visit the organization's Instagram at UTRGV Pre-Vet. This is Celeste Cruz for Vaquero Radio.
February is recognized as the time to commend African American efforts. Here's Victoria Gonzalez with more.
To understand them, to embrace them, to celebrate them, and to acknowledge them in a real human way.
Black History Month is observed in February as a time to honor the achievements and legacy of generations of African Americans who have faced adversity across the United States. The Association for the Study of African American Life and History traces the origins of Black History Month to Chicago in 1915, when historian and author Carter G. Woodson championed the scholarly study and recognition of African American contributions. His dedication to preserving and promoting Black history earned him the title of the Father of Black History. Alfonso Gatling, co-founder of Village in the Valley, a McAllen nonprofit promoting African American culture since 2019, said Black History Month remains essential due to widespread ignorance of Black achievements and their role in American history.
How we have all strived for and worked for the same common goals. Even though we may have been doing it in separate vineyards, we've still been asking for the same things. So Black history is still very important because we don't know the full depth of our history. We've not explored the fullness of our contribution. And so therefore we have to know who we are, where we've come from, what we've done, and why we're pushing so hard for a brighter future.
Associate Professor and Graduate Coordinator for the UTRGV Department of History, Jamie Starling, said in the last 55 years, Black history became deeply integrated into United States history. And this is mainly because of holidays commemorating Black history such as Martin Luther King Jr. Day of Service and Juneteenth.
And so it's kind of easy to take it for granted and say, well, yes, we have all this, we have Black history in our textbooks and in our classes. But I think if you start maybe taking some of this away or maybe downgrading it, that doesn't happen as much. And so I think it's easy to take something for granted until it starts to slip away. Then you realize how important it is.
Associate Professor for the UTRGV Department of History, Tamer Basili, said the U.S. was largely built on Black labor, as many African Americans were brought from Africa as slaves or bought from slave markets.
Many of them have come to America before any of the white people. but still didn't get the same privileges, same rights. Even after the abolishment of slavery, it took another 100 years to gain equal rights up until the civil rights movement. So this is a long struggle, and that's why we need to recognize it. That struggle goes on daily everywhere. Even though we have rules, laws, and regulations preventing racism, but it doesn't mean it is not happening.
Starling said the Valley was an important area before the Civil War because slaves who wanted to escape in the South would come to cross the Mexican border to gain freedom.
And so there are several sites in this area, such as what's known as the Jackson Ranch, which is in Pharr. And that's another historic site that was actually in what was locally called the Underground Railroad that would enable slaves to escape slavery.
Gatling said Black History Month gives people around 30 days to learn about Black people's accomplishments and to highlight lesser-known Black historical figures. He said every year he learns something new about Black history in the Rio Grande Valley.
The families that pioneered for us this area, coming into work and what they owned and what they contributed and what they gave. So it gives us a great opportunity to just dig deeper, find out more, understand better, and then to rehearse that, because most history has to be passed on orally. So we get an opportunity to talk to our older community and learn from them what they've seen, what they've experienced, how they, quote unquote, to steal from the song, overcame.
RGV Health Connect reported African Americans only make up 0.63% of the valley. With the valley's smaller Black population compared to other cities, Starling said many people overlook the significant contributions African Americans have made to local history.
For instance, at Fort Brown near Brownsville in 1906, there was a very famous incident in Black history in which a group of soldiers were accused of a crime and put on trial, and many people felt that that was a very unfair process, but it was a national story that happened here.
Starling said early Black History Month celebrations often focused on prominent activists such as Frederick Douglass. The Defender Services Office noted February was chosen because it aligns with the birthdays of Douglass and Abraham Lincoln, both key figures in the fight against slavery. Then after the 60s, he added the focus shifted to Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, and Rosa Parks. As time went on, people started to recognize different sides of Black History Month, such as the culture, art, music, and literature.
It's not just about those 3 or 4 famous historical figures who led civil rights movements or other such movements, but looking at a wider range of experiences, scientists, movies like the movie Hidden Figures, maybe not just focusing on 2 or 3 famous names, but looking at larger Black contributions to American history.
Starling added students who take music appreciation classes learn about African influence in American music.
Obviously, jazz, hip-hop, soul, R&B, but even things like rock and country that we don't necessarily think of as African-American music, the structure of that music comes from African-American sources. And so I think a lot of that's also something that students encounter when they take these courses, and they really appreciate how fundamental African-American culture is to the United States and to other parts of the world.
Basili said Black History Month combats racial stereotypes and misconceptions by showing people that while the color of their skin may be different, everyone has the same desire to be a better person.
And along the way, discriminating other groups is actually disturbing the peace in the society. And then it slowed down the progress.
Starling said the legacy institution of the University of Texas Pan American did not allow Black students to enroll until the early 60s.
And there was actually a movement to enable Black students to enroll in schools like Pan American College at the time in the late 50s and early 60s. And so I think a lot of that history is relatively unknown here. What Martin Luther King did in Alabama in the 1960s might not sound like it means much to us here, but it was a big part of why, for instance, we have programs like the Pell Grant and financial aid today to enable young people who might not have wealthy parents from all backgrounds to go to college and have access to financial aid.
The Civil Rights Act of 1964 outlawed segregation in businesses, banned discriminatory practices in employment, and ended segregation in public places. And while real change doesn't happen overnight, Basili said it takes gradual steps for Black History Month to go beyond just a symbolic celebration.
Today, students are studying together. They learn each other. They meet each other. They know that we are not much different. So the change is happening through communication. We communicate to each other. If we segregate us from different people because they don't look the same with us, they don't speak the same way with us, then it's an obstacle for change.
The Trump administration issued an executive order to terminate diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives, but Basili said it's beneficial for businesses and large employers to embrace diversity, as it brings unique perspectives from people with different cultural backgrounds.
So that helps them to bring different perspectives and different solutions. It actually helps the businesses because there are so many people who are qualified, but they are excluded because of their skin color.
Starling explained a lot of historic sites and monuments need care by keeping litter out of the area and doing the yard work of maintaining and painting.
So there are groups of volunteers that actually do that sort of work. And so they physically keep Black history alive in that they're maintaining these places and protecting them from development, meaning that people might want to, build something that might block or obstruct or even destroy some of these sites. And so you sometimes have to mobilize people and say, look, this piece of land is actually very important because this is a grave site or this is a historical home of someone that was important in Black history, and we can't just bulldoze it and forget it.
Gatling said individuals and organizations may help Black communities by finding a place to serve their time.
And serving with more than just your dollars. Your dollars help, but having a physical presence, actually going in and doing the work, rolling up your sleeves, playing in the dirt with them, helping to build things that have long-term impact. I think that then becomes a way that you can serve communities long-term, is by helping to build the things, the infrastructure in those communities that lead to real growth, real education, real relationship, real understanding.
The UTRGV Center for Student Involvement Cultural Programming held its first Black History Month celebration Thursday at Plains Capital El Gran Salon on the Brownsville campus. A similar event will take place from noon to 2:30 p.m. Monday at the University Ballroom on the Edinburgh campus. This is Victoria Gonzalez for Vaquero Radio.
The Oscar Mayer hot dogger grill master Matthew give insights to what being a hot dogger is like. Here's Celeste Cruz with the story.
Class attention.
The Oscar Mayer hot dogger role lasts 1 year, where employees learn to operate the Wienermobile, manage PR, interact with consumers, appear on camera, and organize events as they travel across the country. Matthew Bailey, known as Grill Master Matthew at Oscar Mayer, explained what a week of being a hot dogger is like.
So typically, we drive on Mondays. That can be from a couple hours to quite a few hours, just going from city to city, state to state, trying to go from market to market. And then we'll have a couple off days every single week, and then we typically work through weekends. So we'll contact all of our events, make sure that all of our timing is in line, addresses are correct, and then we'll go. And that can be festivals, farmers markets, parades, fairs, grocery stores, birthday parties, grill outs, anything and everything in which we're going to find people, we're going to make them smile.
He said his job gave him a unique experience of making people smile while traveling across the country in the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile.
It's high energy. It's lots of travel, which is very engaging for many people around my age, having that backing that allows you to travel across the country, which is an incredible thing. But you go to so many different kinds of events. You meet so many different kinds of people. It's such a unique experience that you'll never get in any other way because you'll never drive a vehicle like the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile. So it's truly unforgettable.
He noted several states that left him amazed within his first month behind the wheel.
I am from Georgia, so I'm very much used to southeastern forests as well as Appalachian Mountains. We went to both the state of Colorado and the state of Utah, and I think those were the most jarring differences on the road. Driving into Denver, Colorado, and seeing the Rocky Mountains with snow-capped peaks in the middle of the summer was just awe was strewn across my face.
He said his communication skills improved during his time as a hot dogger.
I think that the skill that stands out the most on the road is just communication. I've always liked to say that your ability to speak will get you so much further and put you in so much greater places than anything.
Graduating seniors may apply to be a part of the 38th class of hot doggers. To learn more, visit the Kraft Heinz Company website. This is Celeste Cruz for Vaquero Radio.
And McClain goes up and throws down a monster dunk. That fires up the UTRGV Fieldhouse.
Now time for Vaquero Sports.
The UTRGV men's basketball team came up short against Incarnate Ward. Leonardo Guajardo has the details.
It's a foot race to the basket. He leaves it back for Thorne, who puts it in!
On February 17, the UTRGV men's basketball team fell 68-60 to the University of Incarnate Word Cardinals in an intense back-and-forth showdown. As of Friday, the Vaqueros held a 14-13 overall record and were 6-10 in conference. In the first half, the Cardinals took the lead with sophomore guard Jordan Pike scoring a dunk followed by a three-pointer from graduate point guard Jalen Anderson. The Vaqueros quickly retaliated as graduate guard DK Thorne scored a three-pointer to take the lead. Redshirt junior guard Howie Fleming Jr. extended UTRGV's lead by scoring another three-pointer, closing out the first half with a 36-31 lead. As the second half began, UTRGV and Incarnate Word exchanged point after point, fighting hard to take home the win. Despite the Vaqueros' efforts, the Cardinals took the lead and secured the victory with a final score of 68-60. Head coach Cahill Fennell said the team's loss was disappointing and gave credit to how well the opposing team played.
Obviously massively disappointing. Full credit to Incarnate Word. They did a tremendous job of staying in the fight and staying more poised than we were and just stayed a little bit more focused on making game-winning plays, and we really lost sight of that.
He acknowledged that disappointing performance means there is the need for more consistency.
There's all types of things that we need to drastically improve. I need to do a better job of emphasizing those things and getting those things to register in our guys' minds so we can be a little more consistent with that. The other thing that's disappointing about this performance is we haven't shown this in the last few games. To come out like this in a string where we have been playing pretty decent makes it pretty disappointing.
With only 4 conference games left, he said there is a need for greater effort and discipline within the team.
We just got to get better. Nobody's going to feel sorry for us. We can't feel sorry for ourselves. We have to fix it. We have to find solutions. We have to take it upon ourselves to rebound, to make multiple efforts, to win 50-50 balls. Nobody can be standing and watching. There has to be a little bit more pride on that end. I have to do a better job of coaching that.
The UTRGV men's basketball team took on Nicole State University Saturday. Results are available at goutrgv.com. This is Leonardo Guajardo for Vaquero Radio.
Newton drops straight back towards a crossing route. McCaffrey, touchdown. That's big time.
Good morning, Vaqueros. Here's the sports schedule for this week. The men's basketball team will take on McNeese State University Monday at 6 p.m. in Lake Charles, Louisiana. The women's swimming and diving team will hit the waters at the Western Athletic Conference starting Wednesday all day in Houston, Texas. The women's basketball team will compete against Southeastern Louisiana University Thursday at noon in the Fieldhouse. The men's baseball team will go head-to-head against Lamar University on Friday at 6:30 p.m. in the UTRGV Baseball Stadium. Don't forget to bring your student ID to all UTRGV games for free admission and support our student athletes by showing up. This is Leonardo Guajardo for Vaquero Radio.
And now for this week's events calendar.
What's up, Vaqueros? Let's check out all the fun events going on this week. Today at the Edinburgh Ballroom from noon to 2:30 p.m., the Center of Student Involvement will host a Black History Month celebration. On Tuesday, the Baja Racing Club will host a fundraiser snack bar from 10:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Engineering Building. Then on Wednesday from 10:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m., the Korean International Student Society will host a club fundraiser selling elotes, hot Cheetos and cheese, pancakes, and more. Also on Wednesday on the Brownsville campus, UTRGV's annual Chariada will be hosted at the Student Union lawn from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. On Thursday, on both campuses' student unions, there will be a duo billers tournament from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. That is the event calendar for this week, Vaqueros. Don't forget to bring your student ID to all UTRGV events. This is Ariana Galladro for Vaquero Radio.
And now, for this week's campus weather report.
Good morning, Vaqueros. This is the weather forecast for this week. Today there will be some clouds in the morning, which will give way to mainly sunny skies for the afternoon with a high of 78 and a low of 51. Tuesday will also have clouds in the morning and will give way to mainly sunny skies for the afternoon with a high of 84 and a low of 58. Wednesday will be mainly sunny with a few passing clouds with a high of 84 and a low of 59. Thursday will be a mix of cloudy skies and sunshine with a high around 75 and a low of 58. Friday will be partly cloudy skies with a high of 80 and a low of 57. That is the weather forecast for this week. Please dress according to these weather conditions. This is Celeste Cruz for Vaquero Radio.
That is the newscast for this week.
Remember to read our news articles every week on our website, utrgvradio.com.
Tune in into Vaquero Radio through our website or download the Radio Garden app to listen wherever you are and enjoy the best DJ shows around campus. Remember to check out our YouTube channel for the latest news from UTRGV and the Valley.
Our weekly newscast will also be broadcast at 11 a.m. every Wednesday.
Join us next week, same time, same place.
Only on Vaquero Radio, the Valley's student station.
Thanks for tuning in, Vaqueros. Be sure to saddle up at 11 a.m. every Monday and Wednesday for another newscast. And as always, V's up!